Oh, honey, let me tell you about the day my world turned upside down. There I was, standing in the grand ballroom we'd rented for my retirement party, surrounded by folks I'd worked with for over 40 years. The cake was cut, the toasts were flowing, and then my own son, the CEO of our family business, steps up to the microphone. With a smirk on his face, he says, "Mom's been just adequate all these years." The room went silent. But oh, dear, he had no idea what I'd uncovered about his dirty little secrets. By the next morning, the authorities were at his door, and our family legacy? Well, it got the justice it deserved. Now, if you've ever felt the sting of betrayal from someone you raised with your own two hands, or dreamed of that sweet moment when the truth comes out and sets everything right, then hit that like button right now. Subscribe to hear more of these heartfelt tales from my rocking chair, and settle in with a cup of tea. Because this story of family secrets, heartbreak, and a grandmother's quiet revenge is one that'll touch your soul and maybe even make you cheer by the end. Oh, bless your heart for tuning in, my dears. This is Grandma Hattie here, rocking gently on my old porch swing with a warm mug of chamomile tea in hand. The sun's dipping low over the hills, painting the sky in those soft pinks and oranges that always make me think of better days. But today, I want to share a story that's been weighing on my heart for a spell now. It's one of those tales that starts with love and laughter, twists into something dark and hurtful, and ends with a kind of peace that only comes from standing up for what's right. You see, family is supposed to be our rock, our safe harbor in this stormy world. But sometimes, even blood can turn cold, and that's when you've got to find the strength to weather the gale. Let me take you back to the beginning, way back when life was simpler and full of promise. I was born in a little town called Willow Creek, nestled in the rolling hills of Kentucky, where the air always smelled like fresh-cut hay and wild honeysuckle. My mama was a seamstress, stitching dreams into dresses for the local ladies, and my daddy worked the coal mines, coming home each evening with black dust on his face but a smile that lit up the room. We weren't rich in money, but oh, we were wealthy in love. I was the middle child of 5, always the one keeping peace among my siblings with a gentle word or a homemade cookie. When I was just 18, I met my dear Harold at a church picnic. He was tall and lanky, with eyes as blue as the summer sky and a laugh that could make the birds jealous. He worked at his family's small hardware store, nothing fancy, just nuts and bolts and tools for the farmers around town. But Harold had big dreams. "Hattie," he'd say, taking my hand under the old oak tree, "one day, we're gonna build something special. A business that'll take care of our kin for generations." And bless his heart, he meant it. We got married that fall, in a simple ceremony with wildflowers in my hair and his mama's apple pie for. Our first few years were lean, scraping by on love and hard work. Harold expanded that hardware store into a supply company for the local builders, and I pitched in right alongside him. I'd handle the books, greet the customers with a warm smile, and make sure every order was just right. "You're the heart of this place, Hattie," Harold would whisper to me at night, his arms wrapped around me as we drifted off to sleep. We had our first child, little Emily, 2 years into our marriage, and then came Thomas 3 years later. Oh, those babies were my world. Emily with her curly pigtails and endless questions, and Thomas, well, he was quieter, always tinkering with gadgets, just like his daddy. As the years rolled on, our business grew. We called it Willow Supplies, and it became the go-to spot for everything from lumber to plumbing in 3 counties. Harold's vision was coming true, we were building a legacy. But life has a way of throwing curveballs, doesn't it? When Harold was 52, he started feeling tired all the time. We'd laugh it off at first, saying it was just the long hours. But then the doctor visits started, and the news hit us like a thunderclap: cancer. Aggressive, they said. My strong dreamer of a husband faded before my eyes, but he never lost that spark. Promise me, Hattie, he whispered on his last day, holding my hand so tight, keep the family together. And watch over the business, it's for the kids. I buried him under that same old oak tree where we'd shared our first kiss. My heart shattered into a million pieces, but I had to be strong for Emily and Thomas. They were grown by then, Emily married to a sweet accountant named Bob, and Thomas, well, he was ambitious. He'd gone off to business school on a scholarship we'd scraped together, and came back with ideas to modernize Willow Supplies. "Mon," he'd say, pacing the office with that energetic stride of his, "we can go national. Online orders, expansions, Dad would want this." And I believed him, honey. I truly did. So, I handed over the reins bit by bit. Thomas became CEO, and I stayed on as the bookkeeper, the quiet guardian of our family's fortune. Emily helped with marketing part-time, but she had her own little ones to raise, my grandbabies, Lily and Jack, who brought light back into my days with their giggles and sticky hugs. Life settled into a rhythm. Mornings at the office, afternoons baking pies, evenings with the family around the dinner table. But oh, dear, cracks were forming under the surface, invisible at first, like hairline fractures in fine china. It started small. I'd noticed discrepancies in the books, a vendor payment here that didn't match the invoice, an expense there for consulting that I couldn't recall approving. "Thomas, honey," I'd say gently over lunch, "what's this charge for? It seems a mite high." He'd wave it off with that charming smile of his, the one that reminded me so much of Harold. "Just business, Mon. You know how it is, schmoozing clients, keeping things smooth." I'd nod, trusting him, because he was my boy. My flesh and blood. But as the years ticked by, those little things added up. Our profits were soaring on paper, but the company account seemed off. I'd catch Thomas in late-night meetings with folks I didn't recognize, sleek-suited types from the city. And then there was Rebecca, his wife. She'd married into the family 10 years back, all glamour and high heels, nothing like our down-home ways. "Call me Mecca," she'd said at the wedding, air-kissing my cheeks. But behind closed doors, I overheard her pushing Thomas, "We deserve more, Tom. Your Tom's holding us back with her old-fashioned ideas." My heart ached hearing that, but I kept quiet, not wanting to stir the pot. The grandkids noticed too, in their innocent way. Little Lily, only 8, tugged at my skirt one day after school. "Grandma, why does Uncle Thomas yell at you on the phone?" she'd ask, her big eyes full of worry. I'd scoop her up and say, "Oh, sugar, grown-ups just get busy sometimes. Now, how about we make some cookies?" But inside, it gnawed at me. Family dinners grew tense. Emily would shoot me worried glances when Thomas dominated the conversation with talk of expansions and investments. "Mon's done enough," he'd say dismissively when I'd offer advice. Time for new blood. And then came the retirement talk. I'd been hinting at it for months. At 75, my bones were weary, and I dreamed of spending my days gardening and spoiling the grandkids. Thomas jumped on it. We'll throw you a big party, Mon. Send you off in style. I was touched, truly. Imagined a cozy gathering with toasts and tears. But oh, honey, it turned into something else entirely. The party was set for a Saturday evening at the Willow Creek Country Club, the fanciest spot in town. Rebecca insisted on it, only the best for Hattie, she'd cooed, but I saw the gleam in her eye. Invitations went out to employees, old clients, even some distant cousins. I spent the week baking my famous pecan pies to share, and Emily helped me pick out a new dress, a soft blue number that made me feel like a queen. The night arrived, and the ballroom sparkled like a fairy tale. Twinkling lights, fresh flowers on every table, and a banner that read Happy Retirement, Hattie, 45 years of dedication. Folks milled about, shaking my hand, sharing stories of how Willow Supplies had helped them through tough times. You're the soul of this place, old Mr. Jenkins from the farm supply said, his voice cracking. My heart swelled with pride. Then came the speeches. Emily went first, her voice trembling as she talked about watching me balance work and family. Mom taught us that love is in the details, she said, wiping a tear. The room applauded warmly. Next was Thomas. He strode to the podium, confident as ever in his tailored suit. I beamed up at him, my boy all grown up. Oh, my dear listeners, it's your old Grandma Hattie here, sipping on my chamomile tea in this coy little nook of mine, surrounded by faded photographs and memories that feel as fresh as yesterday's rain. I've got my knitting needles clicking away in the background, but today, they're gonna have to wait because I've got a story to share with you, one that's been tucked away in the corners of my heart for nigh on 40 years now. It's about love, betrayal, secrets that fester like weeds in a garden, and the kind of poetic justice that makes you believe in karma all over again. You see, back when I was a spry young thing, well, not so young, mind you, I was already in my 50s, but full of life and trust, I thought my marriage to Harold was as solid as the oak tree in our backyard. We'd built a life together, raised 3 beautiful children, and weathered storms that would have sunk lesser ships. But every Saturday night, without fail, Harold would kiss me on the cheek, grab his old fedora, and head out for what he called his card game with the boys. Poker, he'd say, or sometimes bridge if they were feeling fancy. I'd smile and wave him off, packing him a thermos of coffee and a slice of pie for the road. Have fun, dear, I'd call out, never once questioning it. Why would I? Harold was a good man, a provider, the kind who fixed leaky faucets without being asked and brought home wildflowers on anniversaries. But oh, honey, if only I'd known sooner what was really going on those nights. I'd kept quiet, hoping it was a mistake, praying my son would come clean. But that word, adequate, it lit a fire. As the party wound down, I slipped away to the quiet of my car, tears streaming. But by the time I got home, those tears had dried into steel. The next morning, Sunday, I rose with the sun. Brewed my coffee strong, sat at the kitchen table with my old rotary phone. Emily, honey, I said when she answered, her voice groggy. I need you to come over. There's something you should know. She arrived within the hour, Bob and the kids in tow. I laid it all out, the documents, the trails of money. Emily's eyes widened, then filled with hurt. Mon, how could he? We hugged, and together, we made the call. Not to Thomas, oh no. To the authorities. The state auditor's office, then the FBI for the interstate aspects. I provided everything, copies of ledgers, bank statements, even emails I'd quietly saved. "This is Hattie Wilkins," I said firmly into the phone. "And I have evidence of fraud at Willow Supplies." The investigation moved fast. By Monday afternoon, agents were at the office. Thomas called me in a panic. "Mon, what have you done?" "This is a misunderstanding." But I stayed calm. "Son, you called me adequate. But I built this with your father. And I won't let you destroy it." The fallout was heartbreaking. Headlines in the local paper: "Family business rocked by embezzlement scandal." Thomas and Rebecca were arrested, charged with fraud, money laundering. The trial dragged on for months, ugly details spilling out: vacations paid for with company funds, a secret condo in the city. Emily testified, her voice breaking as she described discovering the betrayal. The grandkids were shielded as best we could, but Lily asked once, "Why is Uncle Thomas in trouble, Grandma?" I held her close. "Sometimes, people lose their way, sugar. But we fix what's broken." In the end, Thomas was sentenced to 5 years, Rebecca to 3. The business survived, barely. Emily took over as CEO, with me advising from the sidelines. We sold off non-essentials, rebuilt trust with clients. And me? I retired for real, but on my terms. Planted that garden, baked those pies, watched the grandkids grow. Oh, dears, it tore me up inside, turning in my own son. But family isn't just blood, it's trust, honor, the legacy we leave. Harold would have wanted justice. And in the quiet evenings now, as I rock on this porch, I feel peace. If there's a lesson here, it's this: never underestimate a grandmother's love, or her strength when it's tested. And that's the story, my loves. Family is everything, but trust must be earned every day. If this touched you, share your own tales in the comments, I'd love to hear them. Until next time, this is Grandma Hattie, signing off with a hug.